Welcome along to the first session here on Fooltime. Wanting to send a shout out, of course, going out to our sponsors, Racecraft Motors. They are down there on Grey Street. Go and check them out. Of course, we welcome first of all to the show our main man, Mr. Raa Walker. Morning, bro.
Yeah, good morning, boys. Beautiful day here in Gizzy. Starting to cool, but started out and about. So I think, summer's finally arrived from all the wet we've had, Gizzy.
Yes, indeed. Also enjoying a bit of the nice weather up there in Pairo, I believe. We have with us our man, Rino Wilkinson. Morena, bro.
Yeah, morena, boys. And yeah, you're right, Keithy. Beautiful day. Blue skies, not a cloud at the moment around. But yeah, it's been lovely over the last couple of days. Like Raa said, the previous days, man, it's been rubbish, thunder, lightning, wet weather, every blooming thing. So glad to have some sunny weather, mate.
And in a country that's noted for its beautiful weather, we have over there in Australia our man Jason Tawhiwhirangi. Morena, JT.
Yeah, morning, Keith. I love the irony in your tone. It's not hot, mate. Honestly, it's a welcome relief from the furnace-like conditions we've had probably the last 2.5 to 3 weeks. So it's only a mild 22 degrees today.
Right.
And our penultimate show, I've got to say, well done on getting home, boys, after the Man Up rally. I saw you down there.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Now, on Wednesday, Reno, we discussed, and this is something that was quite prominent, and that kind of, I don't know, we spent some time talking about, and that's, I suppose, the state of boxing in this country. Hey, I mean, Raa, you are also part of that conversation too, pretty much. What do you think? We'll ask you, what do you think of the state of boxing in New Zealand?
Well, it's, one of those, I don't know how to put it in a sporting context, but I don't know, sometimes I think there's a fine line between the actual sport of boxing and entertainment. Mm-hmm. And it's not just here in New Zealand. You see it sort of happening around the world. I think it always will be. It always has been. Sometimes you think some of these bouts that they arrange are quite, what's the word, quite jovial sort of thing. They're very... and saying that, though, I probably still wouldn't want to hop in the ring with some of the more well-defined boxers. But I don't know. I just think... there's a lot of reasons for the nature of boxing as a sport-wide sort of perhaps kind of, gone down their path. But you're here in New Zealand, I don't know. I think it's more the entertainment value here, and I think it needs to go back to what it sort of used to be, which is about boxing sort of thing. But there's a few reasons for that. I remember when was it? Was it this year? There were those fundraising fights that were sort of pitching on around the country, and I think there was a firefighter. I think he got killed in one of these so-called friendly fundraising events, and the sort of authorities and powers that be have come down on that, and what was supposed to have been a fundraising event to create awareness and bring to attention some cope-up that they had ended up being a sad affair. For the boxer's whānau, because he wasn't really a boxer. It's one of those sort of bouts where they might get you, Keithy, up against another guy from a radio station, and sort of put you in a ring and then you go for it. But yeah, there's a lot of reasons, and I just think you throw that all into the mix, and then things can get a little bit the lines of the code of boxing can become a bit blurred sometimes.
Reno, what's going on with boxing in New Zealand, bro?
Well, I suppose taking nothing away, Keithy, from people who take it as a sport. Remember, there's a young group of people who get out there, train hard, get into the ring, and when they fight the opponents in a proper boxing tournament, it's all good. That's the maturity of the boxer we see, and I don't want to discredit anyone like that, I think we're more talking about the fast when it comes to, say, Sonny Bill Williams in that Australian last weekend. More so, that was based on charity and raising a lot of money for a good cause. So you can't take nothing out of that. Just going back to Razan, where that guy got into the charity fight and after his knock and then eventually passed away. That's a sad scenario of that. So, yeah, Boxing New Zealand, no doubt, will look at that, let alone other charity organisations who want to get associated with boxing as well. So that's kind of opened up a different kettle of fish again. But boxing overall, look, we've had our highlights of a few names we could run off, and down the country pretty proud as well. Yes. Everyone talks about Tua, everyone talks about Shane Cameron, but some of it's a bit of a fast, mate. So I don't want to disrespect young fellas who take it as a sport. I've seen guys who go jogging, get into the gym, mate. They train hard out, and they give as good as they can, and they get in there for the pure side of it. They love it. They love the sport and want to fight the guy in front of them and hopefully come away with a win. Some just, as I say, go back to Sonny Bill thing, was more a charity thing. He's actually a joke, to be honest, bro.
See, this is why I bring this up, because, and I'm so glad I didn't watch it, but I did hear about it, and for me, it was just an absolute joke. Right from the get-go, right from the very start, when he was boxing, and he's supposed to be the New Zealand champion, he's boxing an absolute nobody that nobody's heard of. Who the heck knows how he won his championship bout from a Wheat Bix packet, it seems like, and he goes and gets counted out, and it becomes a draw. Just an absolute joke. That's why I'm asking what about the state of boxing. I understand where you're coming from, though, Rino, but man, it just is not a good look. Now, JT, I'm not sure if you've seen anything that happened with that Sonny Bill Williams fight, but what do you reckon there, JT?
Oh, mate, well, the state of Australian boxing's in good hands. I mean, we had the Mundine v. Horns fight last week, which was an absolute joke of a thing. I went to watch Creed 2 yesterday, so my faith in boxing has been restored.
Right. True enough.
No, look, I was fortunate enough, or unfortunate enough, whichever. I was involved in one of those charity boxing matches. About 11 years ago now. I got roped into it. I sort of wasn't keen because it really puts yourself out there. So we had to do a 12-week training program, and it was raising money for a young fellow that had leukemia. Unfortunately, has since passed away. But just to hold the intensity of the training, and one of the hardest things I found was the sparring sessions. We actually get hit because I've never really been much of a not so much into boxing that much. Sitting in a participation side of it, but very interesting lead up to it, all the training, all the medical stuff we had to go through. And on the night we had to be cleared medically, and then I went in there. I faced a guy probably a similar size, and we went for the 3 rounds, and we ended up having a draw. So it's good, and neither of us lost any face, but I think the victory was just getting into that ring and having to go. It's different sort of scenario. I've never been involved in that sort of thing before. Always been pretty much a team sport player, but when it's just you and no one else, it was actually, mate, I had the brown stuff coming out of my back end, if you know what I mean.
Oh, wow. Anyway, and see, I guess you can allude sort of like to boxing, the state of boxing worldwide, if you look back at that Tyson Fury and who did he fight? Deontay Wilder. Yes. I mean, you've got to wonder what's happening with boxing as a whole. What do you reckon, Rino?
Yeah, well, I suppose, that's the top end scale of professional boxing. 2 men put their titles on the line, and one man, a gypsy, got knocked down twice, blew everyone away because he got back up, like I said on Wednesday, and basically most men would have been down and out. But this guy gets back up and carries on through. Then the fast of it all, it's a draw.
Yeah.
I suppose, that's what the world sees, and that's like where you raise your comments in regards to the state of boxing, not only here in Aotearoa, but worldwide. You would have thought with the 2 knockdowns, Deontay was a sure winner. He thought he was as well. But that's just part of it, mate. That's where it's becoming a joke now. That's where we see it and all this type of stuff. So will we see a rematch next year? It's a promoter's dream. Of course we'll see a rematch next year.
Yes.
Promoter's going to make a lot of money out of this.
Absolutely.
So it seems to me all about money in some sense.
Yeah.
But even the boxers, you go back to Mayweather and that McGregor fight, you know.
Yes.
That was worth millions. It was more about the powerhouse, their industries, their companies, the enterprises. It was a big money injection into that. And look, they walked away with millions of dollars.
Was that a farce, though? Was that
a
farce?
You could say so, but I suppose it's more about entertainment, because these guys are massive production companies now. The two of them, they've got their own production enterprises now, and you know, everyone bought into it. The world bought into it. Well, they got plenty of money, bro. The EFTPOS card ain't going to decline anytime soon. So, yeah, it's just one of those things. It seems to be more about what Raa touched on, I guess, the showcase, but also money. That's a big injection into it now. And look, it's no different to some of the era of the Don King days. So, yeah, it has changed in the last, I would guess, more so prominently in the last 2 decades.
How do you see?
You know, when you go back to Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield, forget about the ear thing. The Tyson era was a pure boxing fight.
Yes.
We knew what Tyson brought to the ring. He was like a bloody pit bull.
Yes.
So the fight was actually about a fight, in some sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was more about those two going head to head, and they were two professional fighters. Back in that era, it was good to watch because you knew what you're going to get, a real punch in every blooming thing. But now it's like, yeah, I don't know. I think I wouldn't waste my bloody $40 or $50 watching it now.
Boxing has changed.
I just look for those I look for those illegal streams, mate.
Yeah. Boxing has changed a lot from, say, like back in those days, haven't they, JT? What do you reckon?
I think Reno hit it on the head when he mentioned that airboarding matchup between Mike Tyson and Holyfield. For me, that's where it sort of started to go downhill.
Yes.
After it became a bit of a circus
Agreed.
and more about what's going on inside the ring. If you go back further, you got the classic haggle of V. Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Durant. So some really, really classic stoushes over time. And I just think in the last, say, 20 years, boxing has kind of lost its way with the way money and online betting has come into vogue. So, mate, just needs to be a big clear out, and I'm not too sure whether it can recover, to be honest. You talk about fast fights like the Sonny Bill Williams escapade, and I mentioned the Jeff Horn, Anthony Munn joke. So, yeah, I can understand people trying to make $1 off it, but it's going to go like that, that wrestling rubbish, which is big as well. It's going to be all, all cucker and all for the money and acting and all that sort of rubbish. So, which is sad for the purists and the ones that actually take the science of futurism seriously.
Yes.
But yeah, I just think it's got a long way to come back to gain some credibility with people.
What about in terms, because MMA is, I would dare say, MMA, AJT, is taking a lot of that market that would usually focus in on boxing. They're taking a lot of their market, and maybe they're trying to, entertain in the same sort of way. What do you reckon?
Yeah, that's probably another factor which is taken away from boxing's market. My son, he's 21 years old. All his mates, they can't watch boxing. They say it's crap. Yes. They'd rather watch UFC and, like you say, MMA. And I think Dana White, the head of the UFC movement, is a very savvy and a very smart businessman. He's putting himself out there. And let's face it, he's got a damn good product.
Yes. And the funny thing is, I can't watch. I can't watch MMA. Well, I can, but I actually prefer that, I don't know, more structured sort of thing. I guess than watching where anything sort of goes. But then I don't know. That's just me. What do you reckon, Raa?
Yeah, well, I think all the guys hit the nail on the head there. Once upon a time, boxing was the number one combat sport, way back in the day. Then, came along the infusion of wrestling, and then now the new blood sport, which is mixed martial arts, MMA. I mean, they're all fighting for the viewing rights, the audiences, the money. Well, it ultimately all comes down to money. They're most of them they're all professional kind of sporting fighting codes. So, that has played a big role in how the different codes, how they perform, how they tend to sort of go about arranging the fights now. And that's why we've seen a lot of these so-called comical, boxing matches. It's all about getting back the audiences that have been taken away